Thinking about selling your home? We're going to give you a few simple but critical steps before you put that sign in the yard to make sure that you get the best price and the fastest sale. In this video, we're going to give you the exact tips we give our sellers to avoid those common mistakes and impress the buyers from the moment they step into your home. And stick around to the end. I'm going to give you one tip, and it's free, that will make a huge difference on how your home feels.
We're Rod and Melody, your guides to living in Salt Lake City and beyond. With over 30 years in Utah real estate, we're here to help you navigate this beautiful state with confidence. We make videos about living in Salt Lake, exploring the suburbs, and what life in Utah is really like.
All right, number one, start with a deep level clean. The easiest way to make your home feel more expensive is to have a very clean home. So hire a professional cleaning crew. Have them cover everything that we tend to overlook. Everything from baseboards to windows to ceiling fans to grout lines, everything, all those little places that we tend to overlook. We want to make sure this feels hotel level clean. Number two, declutter and then declutter some more. You want to clear off all of your spaces. Make sure that you go ahead and pack up everything that you don't absolutely need for the next 60 days, since you're going to be moving anyway. Clear off everything, and we want to make sure that when people come into your home, they can begin to put their stuff in your space, and it's hard to do if you've got a lot of stuff in there. So less in this case really is more. Next on the list is to depersonalize strategically. It's okay to have one or two family photos in your home, but we want to make sure that people feel like this is a home they could buy. We don't want them to feel like a guest in somebody else's home. Along that same notion, you have to minimize religious items and also political items, because that can polarize and turn a buyer off. Another important tip we give our sellers is paint. If you've got any scuffed or dirty walls, touch-up paint goes a long ways, and a lot of us have bold colors, maybe rooms that are a darker color. It would be advisable to turn it into a neutral tone, lighter color, maybe not quite as bold. If you've got different rooms with different paint colors, that's usually a turnoff to most buyers. So create a blank canvas, something that they can create in, which oftentimes means neutral tones and easy. And again, those baseboards and some of those scuffed walls, a little touch-up paint eliminates that concern that maybe the home hasn't been as well cared for. Even if you have, we all have little, critters, kids, pets, different things like that that can scuff some walls. So a little touch-up paint ahead of time before the sign goes in the yard. Let's take a second to talk about curb appeal. So this is where the first impression always happens. And so if you've got a yard with some bark or something around the house, make sure that looks fresh. Clean up any weeds, trim around, make sure your lawn is mowed and looks really good for showings. And also pay attention to the doorway. So often the doorway may get some cobwebs or some dust. It may need a power wash. The door might have some dings in it. We want to get all of that cleaned up ahead of time, because this is where the first impression happens. And a lot of times while the agent is messing around with the lockbox trying to get the key, they're standing there looking around at the cobwebs and the dirt. So pay attention to your doorway, entryway, and the front of the home. Okay, time to talk about natural light, windows and blinds. Some of us like those warmer tones when we are living in a home. We don't want all that bright light. However, when it comes to selling your home, doing a little upgrade on the lighting, making sure that you have some really bright lights is helpful. And make sure that you're opening blinds and windows when people come over so that they get a lot of natural light. It helps the home be a lot more appealing. One of the most difficult and awkward conversations I have with sellers is the odors in their home. You've probably heard about the commercial where they talk about scent is the strongest sense tied to memory. So that's what people remember about your home. And we have olfactory fatigue, so we don't realize that our home smells different than it always smells. Have somebody come in, and that's something that we need to talk about. Smoke, mustiness is an immediate turnoff for a lot of buyers, and it creates objections that aren't really there to begin with. So make sure that that's something you handle. We talk about ozone machines. There's a lot of different things that you can rent. But one thing I don't recommend is don't try and mask the odors with heavy scents or plugins or things like that that actually can make it worse and not better. So do something to address the odor problem if there is one. Make sure that Pet containers are empty, garbage cans are empty, disposals are empty. Make sure there's no spoiled food in the fridge, and make sure that when people walk in your home, they get that new home scent and not that musty odor. Let's take a second and talk about staging every room with purpose. Every room should clearly show its best use. Convert catch-all rooms into a guest bedroom or home office. Use minimal modern furniture if yours is bulky or outdated. And rent furniture if necessary. Finally, small fixes can make a huge difference. Guys, really quickly, I was touring a home the other day. I went into the backyard. I went to come back into the backyard into the house from the backyard. I pulled on the handle and the handle fell off in my hand. That doesn't look good when you're a buyer looking to buy a property. It just is one more problem that you've got to solve. So all of the little things that you have been putting off over time, the honey-do list, go ahead and tackle that before you put the sign in the yard. All those little things can make a huge difference, and most of the time it's a simple fix. All right, it's time for the bonus tip, guys. Here it is. Rearrange furniture to improve flow. Create clear walkways. Pull furniture away from walls. Remove anything oversized. When the layout feels open and intentional, buyers feel more at ease in your home. We recommend a simple rule of 3. No more than 3 major pieces of furniture in a room. No more than 3 pieces of art on a wall. And no more than 3 things on your countertops. The rule of 3, keep it simple. We've helped over 1,400 families move in, out, and around the state of Utah. So whether you're looking to move to St. George, South Jordan, or Smithfield, we've got you covered. And if you're getting ready to list your home in the future, or you're just looking to explore, check out our next video here.